I think I could dunk on him. I'd love to see him in action. These big, tall humans. Like, what in the world is going on? So I'm going to give you a little bit of information. Back to our 6 categories of mastery. We talked about retention already. We're talking about sales now. You know, relationship business, of course, yeah. But there's skills in this stuff. You know, and we're a little soft on the skills. And part of this is going to people and saying, okay, you don't really need to sell, you just need to share. What I would encourage you to do is just go ahead and say, guess what? We sell. We're salespeople. We're super salespeople. We're necessary. And I think we're one of the protected fields as AI continues to rise. We're one of the protected fields. Here's why. How many of you are already starting to distrust things that you see on social? Any of you? It's just like, I don't think that's real. Because the line's blurring. Even some endorsement of a product. Do you really trust that endorsement? You know, you see an ad, you make the mistake of lingering for 10 seconds over some reel that you weren't even interested in. All you get to see is promos for that particular product for the next week on that particular thing over and over and over. Some of these people just have it down so tight. Or you search one thing and then your feed is completely covered with it, right? So trust is going to continue to fall as the line blurs between reality and fiction. So as trust falls, guess what's going to be more valued? A person that you know recommending something that worked for them. So demonstration, education, trust, we win. The just random social, it's going to get weird. It's going to get really weird really fast when it comes to what's real. Because I'm already, it's like, no, that can't be real. That can't be real. Can't be real. Can't be real. Can't be real. I mean, it's funny. I mean, it's wild. You see some safari video with a lion grabbing a woman out of the Jeep and dragging her into the jungle. Well, that's not real, but it's like, wow, okay. Did that happen? No, I guess that didn't happen. Or the seal being rescued by the fishermen from the great white sharks or whatever. Didn't happen. It's AI. Yeah, right? So we're entering a world where trust is really, really valuable. But when I sat down with Gary Vaynerchuk a month before I started Network Marketing Pro, someday I should play you that audio. Because I recorded our 2-hour session talking about the creation of Network Marketing Pro in February of 2009, 1 month before we started Network Marketing Pro, telling him what I wanted to do. And he said, here's where you win. Everybody, brand yourself as salespeople and super salespeople. You're building a network of super salespeople that everybody's really, really good at sales, and be proud of it, about it. Instead of hiding and saying, don't worry, you don't have to sell, we just share. That's a sales technique. You know, be okay with this. Be okay finding prospects. Be okay going through the various things to be able to master this. Now, sales mastery is what? 1, learning it to the point that you can sell. Any day you want, you can sell. And most of you in this room are, I'm guessing, reasonably confident that you could find a prospect, you can connect with that prospect, you can eventually educate that prospect, sell that product if you want to. Yeah? When I first joined, I was not interested in selling at all. Not even at all. I just wanted to build a team. I wanted to build a team who sold. For whatever reason, psychologically, I was uncomfortable. If, just that you, like Wolf of Wall Street, sell me this pen. No, thanks. I don't want to sell you the pen. Take the pen if you want to. It's like if I have to get you to pay me $2 for this pen or whatever, I'm out of this game. I don't want to. But I could sell the idea of a pen. So I was okay selling an idea, not as much selling a product, right? And here's where I struggled with selling products. It was too emotional, painful for the amount of money I made. For me, as an introverted person. So selling one particular product, if I made $27, keep the 27. I don't want it. But I realized in order to get a team to do it, I need to do it. Okay. So if I want to get 100 people selling 3 products a week, I need to sell 3 products a week. Now I get to sell 303 products a week. As a team, I get it. I'll do it now. Now I'll do it. And that was true with a whole bunch of things. So eventually I had to trick my own brain into saying, I tell myself I'm not a salesperson, but I'm selling ideas all the time. An idea is just another product. The idea of network marketing is just another product. Selling the company, selling your team system, selling mastery, selling training, it's all just another product. Okay, cool. So I would love for you to get comfortable with the idea of sales, more comfortable with it, a little louder about we're building salespeople. And we'll show you how to sell, and we'll show you how to build a team that sells. And it's going to be fun, and it's going to be great, and we're going to bring value. I will tell you this. In the interactive, for those of you at home, 2 questions inside of your dashboard. 1, how would you rate your current sales skill level? Number 1. And number 2, what top 3 obstacles keeping you from being a 10 in sales? So throw those up. Okay? Those 2 questions for the people at home. Those of you here in the room, I would ask you, this is homework for later. What's 3 things stopping you from being a 10 when it comes to sales? Now, not just your personal sales. In doing, teaching to teach. Across the board with everything that we're talking about. So here's one thing. When people ask me about companies, which they do a lot, tell me about, should I do this company? Should I do that company? Which companies do you admire? I try not to pick sides as best as possible. It's just like, but I will give you some observations. In order to build a business that lasts, you need a company that lasts. Would you agree? So some people actively choose companies that have a very low chance of lasting because they can make some money in the short term. It's part of our business. You all know people in some of these companies. There's money to be made short term. Okay, sounds good. Why is it short term? Maybe the company's cutting corners. Maybe they're making claims. Maybe they're doing something. Maybe it's in a gray area of regulation. Who knows? But that's one area of concern if you want to build something that lasts. And there will be innovation. And people are going to figure out some categories that have not been addressed prior, and they're going to figure out the way to do it right. The market is going to promote some, and it's going to expose others. There's going to be winners and losers. When somebody, let's say there's some sort of service that's being offered in a particular niche, and there's 10 companies. It's kind of like the dot-com boom. There's 10 companies, there's going to be 2 winners. Maybe one has 70% market share, the other one has 30%, and the other 8 might not make it. That's likely true for some newly emerging categories. As new technology comes out, new services, new products, new things. So I try not to say, oh, this is going to work or it's not. Here's the biggest way to judge. And you have to think about this. The customer has to win. If you have something where the distributors win and the customer doesn't, that is a problem. Now, if your ownership, maybe in the short term, the customer's not winning, but they have a plan to get them to winning, okay, great. I mean, you either got to evolve and figure that out, or you're going to be eliminated. Because if the customer doesn't win over long term, there's not enough people. You can't just keep replacing over and over and over and over and over and over again, where customers losing, and you're replacing them with other customers, or most of your customers are only distributors because they're only using the product because there's a compensation plan benefit. Can you see the flaw? If we're going to build something that lasts, the customer has to win. So there's got to be a great experience, not just a good value, not just a quality product, but a great experience. This is part of sales when we're connecting these people. Over the long term, the customer has to win. So looking at the organizations that have solid growth up and to the right, customers winning. So our goal is more customers and larger lifetime value, which we've already talked about. And it's just a very simple process. I'm not going to take a lot of time because Daniel G is going to be coming out and going deep with you on this topic. But it's the same 5-part flow. Finding prospects, number one. How do you find customer prospects? Connecting to those people. Inviting those people to understand what you have. Educating them, using third-party tools as best you possibly can, and then enrolling. So finding, connecting, inviting, educating, and enrolling. A simple flow. Now, I'll give you a couple concepts that are true in recruiting, but they're also true in sales. And Sandy, if you got that graphic that Isaac worked on all businesses conversation, I have this belief system that we're all connected, all of us. Wonderful. Yes, we're all connected. Really, truly, we're connected. There's like this invisible network of the entire world. As a human race, we're connected. And when we get into conversation, that connection lights up. We fall out of conversation, the connection goes dark again. You know what I mean? So if you imagine people sitting around in a diner or whatever, and they're having conversation, and then in the conversation, what you'll see here is all of a sudden, don't try not to get too much vertigo, like, whoa. But see the connection? They're talking, they're connected. They're talking, they're connected. They're talking, they're connected. If they stop talking, that connection goes away. See what I mean? And some of the people, like this person on the phone, is not connected in person, but is connected to others. So our job, if we're going to create sales, if we're going to create community, we're going to create recruiting, is to keep these connections open. Because when they're open, they're lit up. They're real. It's like a living organism. If you stop talking, think about people you've been in connection with in your life, and you're still connected because you're friends, but you stop talking with them, that connection goes dark. If you stay connected, here's what happens. It opens up the possibility of miracles. Think about, in your life, a conversation you had that changed your whole life. It might have been being introduced to your spouse or a significant other. It might have been, a business contact that changed everything. It might have been somebody who changed your mind about something, that conversation. If that didn't happen, you don't have that opportunity. But So long as these connections stay lit up, business can happen, sales can happen, ideas can be exchanged. 1 + 1 can add up to 5. So if you can teach one simple concept, the concept is keep as many conversations lit up at any moment in time. The goal should be 100. Everybody on your team, I want you to think about this. If you can teach every person on your team to be actively engaged with 100 people at any moment in time, okay? Back and forth at whatever frequency, doesn't matter. But if there's some sort of conversation happening with 100 at a time, how many of those people will become customers likely and at least try your products? A decent number. And it doesn't need to feel stressful. How many of those people would look at your business or at least understand it? Now, instead of 100, it's 10. Compounded through your group, which is more than you have right now. All of you do not have 10 on average inside your group, not even close. Your builders, yes. But how about the earners? Probably not. How about the inactives? Of course not. So we have to encourage conversations, right? So that's one thing, is to understand, encourage more conversations and give as much power to that as possible. And sales, you can start layering tactics inside of that in order to be able to create more sales. Second thing is third party is going to dramatically help. And I'll talk to you more about third party later on when we get into duplication. But third-party resources in order to be able to create more sales is going to be great. I will tell you one simple concept when it comes to sales. And again, we got the sales mastery box over here. Every tool, every script, every case study, every training, everything I've ever learned over the last 37 years, observation and personal experience, is contained in that box. And organized in that box, and I'll show you how to get it tomorrow. But inside of that, what I realize is if you create simple processes that still need to be learned, so scripts that still can be learned, basic scripts. There's organizations that make tons of sales with really simple scripts. Like they have 3 scripts for their whole team. Do this script, do that script, do this script. Okay, come back. Use this tool, use that tool, use this tool. Okay, come back. And what are those scripts and tools doing? Buying time. Buying time to become more naturally skilled. Buying time to learn how to build rapport. Buying time to learn how to pivot a conversation. Buying time to learn how to overcome an objection naturally. Answer questions easily. Buying time. Until then, little systems to be able to do it. In order to be able to make more sales, setting expectations is wildly important. I do want to talk about renewals. Because this is, we talked about it a little bit before in expectations, but I will just tell you, the renewal process is really, really important. Your involvement is key. So let's just assume you have a sale made. I sell a product to Leanne. I cannot assume she's going to make the next one. Okay, I have to assume, if I'm going to assume anything, that she's never going to order again on her own. Even if she's on an auto ship. I need to babysit that until it gets built into her life. So I need to get one more order. So for all of you, do everything you can to get one more order. For during the holidays, if you have a giftable product, go to every customer, see if you can get one more order as a gift. If they like your product, maybe they'll get it as a gift to somebody. A lot of people are looking for ideas. One more. Try this flavor. Try this one. Try this mix of these two things together. Add the creatine. Here, use the aloe. Try that. Have you used our service for this thing? Whatever. But you got to one more, and then one more, and then one more. We're trying to increase the lifetime value. Cross-selling and upselling, more products, whatever they're getting. Do you want fries with that? Just more. Maybe it's a bigger quantity. Are you going to likely use this for forever? Like I take a creatine gummy that I like, and there's only one that I like. And my assistant keeps ordering other ones because the ones that I like are like out of stock a lot because they're really tasty. And the other ones I don't like. So no. Is there a big thing that I can get of this so I don't run out all the time? And we finally found, I'll take a bigger order. Some of your people will take a bigger order of some of your products. Or they'll involve more people in their family. Is there anybody in your family? Ask while they're ordering. Is there anybody in your family that could use our service? You're using, is there anybody else in your family that could use it? Let's get them hooked up right now. Happy to help them, right? Is there somebody you'd like to gift any of these things? You just need to ask. You don't know. Like I'm a perfect customer for like health, longevity, wellness, whatever. I have everything. I bought everything. I had like a skin irritation. So Gary Brecka told me I should try a hydrogen bath. So I got a hydrogen bath machine, $8,000 hydrogen bath machine. Never used it. It's right next to my bathtub. No, it's hooked up. I can have a hydrogen bath anytime, but I mean, I have red light therapy beds. I've got infrared saunas. I got oxygen mask machines. I've got I'm perfect. You know, for anybody who has something expensive that's supposed to add a few minutes to your life, I'm in. Sell it to me. Whatever you got, I'll buy it. So just know, inside of your customer base, there are people who just buy whatever you suggest. Sometimes you just need to suggest more. Sometimes you're a little nervous about it. So more products, different products, helpful suggestions. With all of this, what I want you to be thinking about is, more than anything, increase conversations. Yes? If we increase conversations, we're going to make more sales. Give people simple things to get them started. At the very beginning, and we're going to talk about this in duplication later, at the very beginning, we're just trying to use the people on your team to be a connector. You're the skilled person. Let them connect you to their network or connect to a tool. You need to keep it really fundamental and basic in order to be able to turn it into productivity, because they don't have confidence, they don't have skills, they don't have abilities, they don't have experience yet, but they do have contacts. So here's the mistake people make. They start them as connectors, but then they don't take the next step and teach them how to become skilled. So if a person lacks confidence, if you lack confidence, I don't care how good the system is, eventually you're going to stop taking action because you're going to be insecure all the time. You're going to feel unprepared all the time. In the meantime, network marketing will wait for you to develop those skills. There's some little systems and stuff. So you got to use some tricks to get the most productivity out of people, but then put them on a path. Don't leave them unequipped. Put them on a path in order to be able to increase this, right? Some of you are amazing at this. Some of you are spectacular at it. Others of you are more recruiting focused. Some of you are a blend. But how is the depth of skills? You know, what is, if you were to rate the skills of your entire, call it your active team, when it comes to selling, everybody who earned a check in the last 30 days, what would you rate their skill set, scale of 1 to 10, if you took them all and averaged it? Anybody? What do you think? What would yours be? What? Anybody? 4, 3, 4. Anybody an 8? Anybody in the room? Not a single 8. Any 7s? Any 6s? A 6, 2 6s, 3 6s, 4 6s. So, do we have room for improvement? Yeah. So if the best in the room is at a 6, this is the opportunity, right? 1 is to keep them in longer. 2 is let's equip them. So to equip them, this young gentleman that I'm going to bring up is an awful lot of fun. He burst onto the scene. One of the hardest working guys I see around the world. This guy works hard, man. I get tired watching him work. He's been on more airplanes in the last 7 days than you've been on all year probably. He is going. He's here to bring value. He really has a servant heart. So